This is the story of my father, Frank James Banks, a son of Memphis who became one of its great business pioneers. A certified public accountant, an entrepreneur, a hotelier, a banker, a nightclub owner, and a mentor to a generation. For more than 50 years, he built businesses, created jobs, and opened doors that had long been closed. And he did it all in the city he loved and never left. Frank's ancestors came up from slavery in Mississippi. He was born on September 22, 1941, the youngest of 10 children. His father, George, a mail handler for the railroad, died 3 months before he was born. His mother, Maggie, took the insurance money and bought a small house on Gill Avenue, less than a mile from the street named after him today. She worked as a maid, a babysitter, an Avon saleswoman, whatever it took, and she raised her children on faith, discipline, and the belief that hard work and education were the way up. As God's will would have it, directly across the street lived Jesse Turner Sr., the first black certified public accountant in Tennessee, a banker, and a civil rights leader. Young Frank would do odd jobs for the Turners, like mow the lawn and wax the floors. Mr. Turner, he liked to say, scarcely spoke 50 words to him, but his example would set the course of Frank's life. Growing up in the South, Frank learned early what he was up against. At 5, he asked his mother why he couldn't ride at the front of the bus, and he understood for the first time that the American dream was not yet meant for boys like him. As a boy, he and his friend Osby Howard would sit quietly at the whites-only counter at Prescott Drugstore on Elvis Presley Boulevard day after day, years before the Civil Rights marches, until one morning they noticed the stools were simply gone. At Xavier University in New Orleans, he majored in accounting, the profession Jesse Turner had made him believe in. And there he met Brenda Ann Turvalon. They graduated in 1964 and married in 1965, the beginning of a partnership that would anchor everything that followed. Through every long night, in every business risk and every triumph, Brenda has been beside him. After a brief time in Chicago, a mother's love brought him home. Maggie asked Jesse Turner to help, and in 1966, Frank returned to Memphis as the accountant for the city's War on Poverty. At a salary of $8,500 a year, he had come home to go to work for his own people. He started building a business almost at once, opening his first bookkeeping service after hours with partner Mac Finley, one client at a time. In 1969, a friend, Art Gilliam, wrote an article for the Commercial Appeal which quoted him plainly. Frank could have had a better job, he said, if he had been white, and Ernest & Ernest was the only firm he knew that had ever hired a black accountant. It so happened a partner at Ernest & Ernest read those words and took Frank to lunch and dared him to apply for a job. Frank took the dare and got the job. A cutback cost him the position 2 years later, but on the first day at Arthur Brandon CPA firm, he met another young accountant named James White. And in 1972, Frank, along with James, passed the CPA exam, earning the very credential that had inspired him as a boy across the street from Jesse Turner. The child who had admired Memphis's first black CPA now stood among the city's black accountants as one of their own. In May of 1973, Frank and 3 partners, Mac Finley, James White, and George Thomas, signed the papers at his own kitchen table and founded Banks, Finley, White & Company. From a single Memphis office, it grew to Birmingham, Jackson, and Atlanta, one of the first regional African American owned CPA firms in the South. And just 5 years later, Black Enterprise magazine told the nation the story. From $15,000 to nearly $1.5 million in billings, already the largest Black CPA firm in the South at that time. That firm he built endures to this day, 50 years and counting. In 1974, he served as treasurer for Harold Ford's historic campaign, helping elect Tennessee's first Black congressman since Reconstruction. And the recognition soon followed. In 1977, the United States JCs named him one of the 10 outstanding young men of America. Accepting the honor in Las Vegas, he said that being born poor, Black, and deprived in Memphis, and standing there that night was living proof that the American dream and Dr. King's dream was slowly becoming real. He accepted the award on behalf of his 76-year-old mother. By the mid-1980s, Memphis Magazine counted him among the 100 people shaping the city, on the same page as founder of FedEx, Fred Smith. Dreams do come true, the magazine wrote. Ask Frank Banks. He gave his time everywhere it was needed. He was part of the inaugural Leadership Memphis class in 1979 and multiple civic boards, including the Memphis Chamber of Commerce, the Mid-South Coliseum, the United Way, Christian Brothers University, the Memphis Arts Council, and the Memphis Port Commission. He is also a member of the Delta Boule Sigma Pi Phi fraternity. Then, at the height of his success, he did something remarkable. He sold his stake in the firm to partner Stanley Sawyer to chase a bigger dream, bringing downtown Memphis back to life. With lifelong friends Osby Howard and Mabry Holyfield, he founded the New Memphis Development Corporation. When businesses were fleeing downtown, Frank was buying in and helping to rebuild. He took the dilapidated Downtowner Motor Inn on Union Avenue across from the Peabody and reimagined it as the Benchmark Hotel, one of only 3 major franchise Black-owned hotels in the entire United States at that time. The renovation put dozens of minority contractors to work and drew visitors back to a downtown others had given up on. But he didn't stop there. Just down the street on 3rd, he, along with Mabry Holyfield and others, bought another dilapidated hotel and turned it into an Econo Lodge, all brought under Black ownership. He lit up downtown and specifically 3rd Street with the Benchmark Hotel and its Memphis Sounds Lounge where cool jazz and hot blues could be heard, with the 3rd and Madison building that gave minority businesses a home, including Banks and Holyfield Management, with Denny's restaurant he invested in with his son-in-law Chris Hudson on the corner of 3rd and Union, and in time, with his own name up on a building he purchased, the Banks Investment Building near Bellevue and Lamar. His ventures with his partners reached clear across the city, all the way to a KFC Express restaurant at the Memphis International Airport. Frank understood that the Great Barrier was capital, so he helped found and chaired the Tennessee Valley Center for Minority Economic Development, which raised capital, built loans, funds for minority and women-owned businesses, and helped create hundreds of jobs. In 1999, he helped open Memphis' first community bank, the city's first new African-American controlled bank in more than 50 years, and it tripled its assets in the first 6 months. He even spearheaded a major media deal involving local TV station Channel 13 that provided a major settlement for its investors. Knowing the importance of history and education, he created the Memphis African American Historical Calendar with historian Arthur Webb and gave away some 80,000 of them free to Memphis school children so a new generation could see their own history and their own self-worth. Again and again, his own words made the case. Economic development for us, he said, must begin from within. We spend 95% of our money with people who spend less than 5% with us. He called it the black trade deficit. And respect, he said, comes to those who first respect themselves. Frank has and continues to mentor dozens of young accountants and entrepreneurs. He raised 2 daughters who carry his spirit, Dr. Tracy Banks, a physician and entrepreneur, yours truly, and attorney Denise Banks, a lawyer and owner of Banks Mediation Services. His is a family that gives to Memphis. His own sister, Robbie Lee Cooper, a school crossing guard for 40 years, fought for a bridge so that school children could cross the railroad's tracks safely, and Memphis named that bridge in her honor. Service, it seems, runs in the family. Frank Banks loves Memphis deeply, and he never moved away, even when success might have let him live anywhere in the world. For more than 20 years, home was a house on Parkway Terrace where he took immense joy in tending the lawn himself, just 1 block from South Parkway East, the street that now carries his name. Later, he moved downtown overlooking the Mississippi River and the city he has helped to revive. And so today, Memphis honors a native son with Frank J. Banks Parkway, a name that will stand on these streets for generations to come. And he will be the first to tell you he did not do it alone. Every venture, every door, every triumph came with the help of partners, mentors, and friends who believed in him, and he never forgot a single one of them. As a friend once said of him, Frank is a man of keen business acumen who, despite achieving remarkable success throughout his life, always remains humble. Thank you, Daddy, for the businesses you built, the doors you opened, and the road you paved for everyone who followed. You showed Memphis what was possible, and you never stopped giving back. Today, your city returns the love, and your name will stand among us always. Thank you.